All right, it's time for another edition of Mike Finds Things. It is no longer Christmas. There's no Christmas tree. I usually go out and find lots of cool records out in the wild, sometimes at thrift stores, estate sales, occasional record lot, things like that. This week, these all came from thrift stores. Also, make sure you like the video, you subscribe to the channel, leave some comments about some of these records. Not a whole lot this week, as the estate sales were pretty much just about non-existent. I went to one where they had records, and they were as dismal gets on the records from the estate sales. Stuff that like really nobody could ever possibly want. But I did manage to go to a couple of different thrift stores, and we're going to get in there right now. The first one is a thrift store I have never been to, I'd never heard of. And it wasn't really that far from my house. In fact, it wasn't far from that thrift store I like to go to where I usually occasionally score stuff. It was posted on Nextdoor. Somebody from, it was like a rescue thrift shop, animal rescue thrift shop that's not really open that much. It's one of those with the weird hours on the odd days and stuff like that. And somebody posted on Nextdoor they were having a half-off sale on Christmas Eve. So I went down there to check out what records they have. I really didn't have time to look through everything. Unfortunately, I'm very allergic to cats, and they had a bunch of cats in there being an animal rescue place, and I really started swelling up. I did go through all the 45s, found a few good ones, and then I got a couple good LPs, and then I've got some other records LPs I picked up at the other thrift store that I like to go to a lot. So we're going to start into this from 1966. Also, we got a lot of new viewers from the last video, which did really well for some reason. So welcome to the channel. From 1966, we got a Soul 45. I don't believe I've ever run across this one. It is a weird one. It is the Harlem Shuffle, but it's not the version by Bob and Earl. This one's actually done by Bob Kuban and the Inmen. So it's a soul record. It's got like a faster tempo, so more of like a dancey beat, and it is on Musicland USA label, which normally if you see that label, you're probably thinking it's going to be like a country record or something. I have never come across this version of Harlem Shuffle. Of course, years later, I think in the 80s, the Rolling Stones had their version of this. The original is the Bob and Earl one. That's the one everybody knows. That's the one that was sampled by House of Pain on Jump Around. The B-side is a fun instrumental with organ. It is the theme from Virginia Woolf. This one's actually in really good shape. Plays pretty well on both sides. According to Discogs, I usually quote Discogs prices unless otherwise noted. Low of 6, mid of 15, high of 40. So it does have a bit of a value for Harlem Shuffle, but not the normal version we always find. Here's another one that was done by various artists with much more success than this one. Originally done by Benny King. This one is a 1970 psychedelic rock promo, originally done by Benny King. The song was also done by Shirley Bassey as well as Tom Jones. The promo, which is has the same song on both sides. Low of 3, mid of 6, high of 10. Unfortunately, the label is all marked up from being a promo. Probably from a radio station. It is I Who Have Nothing by Liquid Smoke. If you know the song by Benny King, then just think of it as like a psych rock version of that. And the other side is the same, and it's also, they messed up the label on both sides, just for good measure. One of those promos where they put the same song on both sides so the DJ wouldn't mess up. Here we go. From 1965, we got a soul record. It's one a lot of you probably know. Not a high value, low of $1, mid of 4, high of 25. These records were pretty cheap, and it's a really good copy of this one. It is Deion Jackson, Love Makes the World Go Round on Carla. It's a early Carla label with a hole punched in it, so it was a return. And You Said You Loved Me is the B-side on that one. So those are the only 45s this week. No 78s this week. I'm really hoping there's some sales. There was a sale planned right by me. It didn't say they have records, but I could like walk there and then it got canceled. That's like the only sale in my area that was planned for this week. And there's one not too far from me that's at like a warehouse where they take a lot of estate sale stuff. So I'm going to try that one because they do have records there. Unfortunately, I think a lot of record guys are going to show up because it's kind of towards the more hipster area. So I think a lot of those guys will show up for that. The guys that live down like the Hollywood area. This is the one I got at the same thrift store where I got all the crazy allergies. 1972 Soul record. I'm not looking up the pressing on this one as there's too many of them. 360 Degrees of Billy Paul. Of course, Billy Paul, this one with me and Mrs. Jones. And a very nice condition LP. In fact, we were listening to it the other night on Philadelphia International. I always like to pick stuff up like that. The other LP I picked up at that place was the Daz Band Keep It Live. This one's, of course, a 1982 funk record. This is the one with Let It Whip on it. Remember that hit? Funk stuff's always fun, especially like the 80s funk stuff. All right, so that was from the Animal Rescue thrift shop. Now going back, I went to my other store that I like to go to a lot. That does get picked over a lot, unfortunately lately. And I had a 20% off coupon that I needed to use before the end of the year. So my daughter and I went down there the other day. I picked up a Big Lebowski poster. I picked up, I got a leather jacket from her for my daughter from the 80s. And a few other things we spent money on, and we got 20% off. I'll show you the records I found. In fact, they were just putting out records. Somebody else got some, and then I got some. But some of the more interesting, here's the stuff I found. Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Also, I got some DVDs. I've been buying like old DVDs of like TV shows and things like that because I have that old 1958 Philco TV. The Crosby, Stills, and Nash is the one you always find. 6-time folk rock. I didn't put a value because I'm going to be chasing the pressing for hours because they press so many copies of this. And if you look up the interesting history of the house they're in front of, apparently it was like they took their pictures. They wanted to get new pictures done. And by the time they went back, the house was torn down. I think the house was like in West Hollywood or something like that. But there you go. Here's another one. It's actually one of the first CDs I ever bought in the 80s was this one, but it was an album from 1958. This one's a later pressing, Elvis's Golden Records. But, for a few bucks, the jacket's really minty, the record's really nice, but it's it's like the later RCA logo, or label, I should say. Elvis's Gold Records. What's it worth? Looks like somebody bought it at like a record fair or something for $12 at one time. That was the price on it. I did not pay $12 for it. But I did leave it on there for the video to show you. Here's another Elvis. Somebody must have had like their Elvis collection that got donated. 1968 TV special. A couple of songs are recorded in stereo. The rest of it is in mono, so it's kind of a weird one. This is actually the 1981 reissue. Apparently, if you have one of the earlier pressings, they go for pretty decent money. In fact, this one goes for pretty decent money. Low of 5, mid of 18, high of 39. I'll show you this one's like the 81 RCA Victor label. So it's got that style label on it. I did manage to figure out which label it was. But not an Elvis I usually run across, such as the next one. Here's one I do run across, and looks like whatever Post-it note I had for this one fell off. I believe this one's from 58. I think this one's from, I don't remember what year it is. The other one was from 58. Elvis's Blue Hawaii. Kind of surprised I did write it down, and I can't remember where I put it now. But it's a great Elvis movie. Of course, it's got Rock-a-Hula Baby, stuff like that. It's got I Can't Help Falling in Love, and stuff like that. Of course, Blue Hawaii. And it's got the 80s style RCA logo on that one. So later pressing, what's it worth? I have no idea, but not an original pressing, but a good play copy. And the jacket's in really nice shape. You could even frame it. I'm sure it would go for something. Last album I got has like hardly any value. Like I said, there's nothing really super spectacular this week. 1961. That was the one that the Blue Hawaii was from 1961. I put the Post-it note on the wrong record. Blue Hawaii was from 61. Later pressing, and I mentioned the label. Brill Cream presents. I can't even talk. Brill Cream presents Sing Along with Connie Francis. I don't know why I grabbed this. It's not really worth anything. Funny story, we had our family reunion years ago at a lodge in the Poconos in Pennsylvania, and part of the package was you got to go see the show, whatever show it was that night, and it was actually Connie Francis, and she forgot like the words to like some of the songs, which was weird, but it's kind of cool. It's still fun. So sing along with Connie Francis. I thought it'd be interesting because it was presented by Brill Cream, but apparently these are pretty common. So, but Connie Francis. Hopefully you find some stuff next week for you guys. If not, I'll finally dig into that thing. I've got a lot of stuff going on, unfortunately. Family-wise, I think I've mentioned that in the last video. I'm always out looking for stuff. You never know what I'm going to find. And so make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave some comments, and until next time, I'll be seeing you.